Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, you're welcome. A little extended Kurt Cobain.
KSL Rock. 97.5. The Rock.
I do love when people, they go, oh, so you're a DJ? And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. The 97.5 DJs are going to sit here. I'm always like, that's funny. Okay. I don't hate it. I just think it's funny. I've never once taken your call. What music do you want to hear? But we do hand out tickets all the time. And we do.
Yes, we do.
To concerts. So we're right there. All right. Halfway to the arrow, man. Come on. All right, here's what we got. It's that time of the show for us to be able to fire this thing up, get it going. Mitch Harper, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, going to join us right now. Let's get going. Top of the hour. Let's do it.
It's time to get the inside info on BYU with Cougar insider Mitch Harper of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Look at that, 4:06 p.m. I just got the email. AJ DeBonsa named to the 2026 John Wooden Award All-American team, announced by the Los Angeles Athletic Club, one of the many feathers in the cap for a phenomenal freshman season for the phenom that is AJ DeBonsa. Joining us on the program right now, Mitch Harper. Mitch, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy to be on as always.
AJ just keeps racking up the All-American awards. I would assume that he'll get, hey, now.
We're not done rocking.
I told you we were going to rock out today, man. So
that smells like teen spirit.
All the awards keep filing in for this young man. And it's been interesting because I don't know how, Mitch, but he actually overperformed to the expectations that were already monumental.
He did, and he was excellent this season, and it's just a shame that BYU's not preparing for, a Final Four or made that deep run that everyone was hoping and believing this team was capable of. But he was excellent. And, you'll see tonight a guy like Bruce Branch III, who is going to try to take on the mantle as being next in line to be potentially a one-and-done guy. Obviously, AJ hasn't formally announced, but to me, it makes all the sense in the world to go forward and get that contract rolling and go to the NBA and get that thing going, because what's waiting for you at BYU is just no whistle and no space in the Big 12 and more physical play. And you're almost going to get poked at more in terms of your game where, well, you didn't do this in your freshman year. The NBA loves potential, and AJ already had a ton of potential even when he was a 14-year-old, and he only built off that and was impressive. And I think that's a real big feather in the cap for Kevin Young that NBA teams will probably love about, guys going to BYU, is that you might be a heralded guy, but you'll get better at BYU. And AJ did get better this year. It's just the entire team did not reach the expectations and thoughts of what many believe they were capable of. And that's going to be the challenge for Kevin Young. But if you're a one-and-done prospect, potentially looking at BYU, I think AJ is going to do a world of good for BYU going forward. And you saw that with them getting Bruce Branch, like I said, will be in action tonight on the McDonald's All-American game, and he might be one of the top guys in this game tonight.
Bruce Branch is a 5-star guy. He has the potential to be a one-and-done lottery pick, just like AJ, just like Yegor Demon. What does the Cougars need to do to surround Bruce Branch with guys, or what do they need to put together in order to help Bruce Branch reach his potential and that team reach potential next year with a 5-star guy? Because BYU is getting these guys. If they want to keep getting them, feels like they've got to take things to another level when it comes to team success.
For sure. And I think, more shooters, and Bruce Branch, I think, is a better three-point shooter than AJ was. And Branch is an excellent, elite catch-and-shoot prospect. I mean, he's not like AJ where he's going to be living in the mid-range game and just no matter what you try to do defensively, still get to a spot. That's not necessarily Bruce Branch, but excellent three-point shooter, catch-and-shoot in particular. So that half-a-second decision that Kevin Young loves with players, Bruce Branch is right in the wheelhouse of guys that have a lot of success with Kevin Young. Think of like a Devin Booker, that type of shooting ability, and that's what Bruce Branch is. And you want more shooters on this team, but I think also the size has to improve for BYU's front court too, because, Keba Keita was, he took a step back offensively this past season, and Abdullah Bidu Ahmed, he was almost looked when he had joined the team mid-season as a missing piece that maybe could put them over the hump, and that just didn't materialize at all. It seemed like, it was a whirlwind for him to try to get up to speed, with the team. You naturally thought, he's a G League guy. He's going to quickly adapt, but that wasn't the case. So I think that front court needs a big overhaul, and then you pair it up with shooting as well. And, probably every team needs size and shooting ability, but for BYU, start with shooting and then try to identify some bigs that can maybe be more of an offensive threat too, along with, the specialties of, rim protection, which they did have with Keita and to a lesser extent Bidu Ahmed, but you need more offensive punch, I think, from that front court going forward for next year's team.
You saw these guys we had that discussion yesterday, just like, man, if who's left in the NCAA tournament, you're like, oh, teams that just have massive size across the board, and really where it matters, and just big teams were a problem for BYU, even with 11-seeded Texas. And it's just like, hey, if you're going to spend all that money, let's start working on those stars and the height too. Let's get all the biggest people. If you're a BYU fan, that's probably what they're hoping for, is that they can get that size into BYU, and Kevin Young can find that next level. When you look at the rest of the teams that are in the tournament, Iowa State came up short, obviously. The final Big 12 team that's still hanging around, and Houston came up short, obviously, too. I was pretty shocked by that result, but it's the NCAA tournament. Things can happen. But Arizona has just been absolutely flawless, it seems like, just flying through the tournament. They're so good. They just grind everybody down. When you look at who's left of the Final Four, who's your odds-on favorite to win that national championship?
I would go with Arizona. This whole coaching search cloud of, North Carolina maybe looking at Tommy Lloyd. Is it Billy Donovan? Could that be a distraction? He was asked about that today, and he said he's focused. And, I don't think that's going to derail this Arizona team that just looks like an absolute machine. And going back to the size too, BYU did an excellent job of taking away the size of Arizona in both of the meetings that they had against the Wildcats in the regular season. Arizona just made them pay from the three-point shooting ability in Tucson, and then Jaden Bradley and Braden Burgers were brilliant in Provo. But that's what I think made the outcome in the NCAA tournament for BYU so surprising against Texas was BYU had real success against Krivas and Toby Awaka, taking them away out of the game, and that just didn't show up against Texas, who even had a bigger five in Matas in that game. But, yeah, I think Arizona's the team to beat. I feel like that the winner of that Arizona-Michigan game is going to win it all. And, UConn is, a really tough out as well. I mean, this is a really good Final Four with great blend of NBA talent and elite size. So I think it's an outstanding Final Four. And, for programs like BYU, you had 3 games against these 4 teams. You went up against UConn, had it down to the wire, big hole like many BYU games, stormed back and were in the mix right there. And then against Arizona, you were in the mix in both of those games. So, BYU was pretty competitive. And again, I think that's where the frustration for BYU is that they feel it every single day, night in, night out in the Big 12, how good this league is. And I still believe it was a really good league, especially based on the non-conference portion of the season. Like to your point, the Houston game was a strange outcome against Illinois, but BYU was battle tested. They just, I think there's been some valuable lessons that have been learned for Kevin Young as he continues to adjust his line of thought from NBA to college basketball. And now it's just the challenge of trying to, break through and make a deeper run again. He's already done it. I mean, Kevin Young's already got 2 wins in the NCAA tournament under his belt. It's not like a guy that hasn't had success. It's just when you got a generational guy like AJ, you wanted to capitalize, but that didn't happen. And I think though long term, and the way that the schedule that they played, which was a top 15 schedule this past season, and the quality of teams that they face and who got to the Final Four, them having 3 games against these teams, I think it's a real good barometer of maybe a good sense of, what is it going to take to get it over the hump and make a deeper run for BYU. But will be fun basketball to watch this upcoming weekend.
Final week of spring football for the BYU Cougars. What's some storylines that, or maybe just your overall thoughts on spring and what you learned about the Cougars over this month?
That Bear Bachmeier could be the best quarterback in the Big 12. I think the Bear is going to be really good this season. He has to be, and I think that's going to be critical. But I think there is a real optimism and hope coming out of spring in this final week that Bear could be the best in the league. And I think he's taken a really big jump. And, the options now in the offense where he's got 3 plays thrown at him in every snap, I think that's big. I mean, and last year there felt like there was still a little bit of guardrails for Bear, even though they knew that he knew the offense much better than a typical true freshman, considering how late he arrived last, late May, early June on campus. But I think that, he takes a bigger step this year. And what's been impressive, I think, with Bear is he's still kind of just the down-to-earth guy. It doesn't seem like the fame, the spotlight is getting to him. And I think that's always noteworthy in this NIL environment where does that change a person? How does that impact the locker room, the dynamic? Because we hear so much about that with BYU's program. Do they still have a good locker room? And I think Bear is pretty grounded to where, like even someone like Paki Finau, a new player who just joined in January, he told me, I want to block for that guy and protect him at all costs because he's an absolute leader. And so I just think that sort of personality is huge at the quarterback position. And you also got a humble guy in LJ Martin too, who's, emerged as a leader. I mean, he was that last year, but he's really kind of confident and vocal more than he's ever been in his BYU career. And obviously he's still working his way back from the off-season surgery, and he'll be ready to go for the fall. But I think Bear is the biggest storyline to all of this. And I think there's this growing sense that he's really trending up in his ability, and he could maybe be the best quarterback potentially in the Big 12. And I think that's going to be required, I think, for BYU to get over the hump, because Texas Tech's still going to be an absolute beast that you don't want to deal with, and their schedule is really light. And I think that's going to show up. I know that the Big 12, there's always a game or two that we don't expect that's going to be tough, ends up being much more difficult than we think. But I feel like Texas Tech's schedule is so light that BYU might have to be as close to perfect as possible to keep up pace with them. And you got to have a brilliant quarterback to do that. And I think Bear could be that guy. And I think there's a lot of optimism in this final week of spring of what Bear Bachmeier's ability and the step he's going to take in his second year as a sophomore.
I think the quarterback position is always fun. I bet the coaches, and Kalani's one of these guys too, probably too, that they love that the conversation that they're having about quarterback this time of year, and frankly all the way through summer, is how about that battle for QB2? Like they don't have to worry about that number one guy.
Coaches love to answer that question.
So like these guys are battling out there. And I started thinking about the quarterback situation at BYU, and I'm wondering what the timeline looks like over the next 2 or 3 years for BYU, and where Ryder Lyons fits into all this, and where Bear's potential fits into all this. What's an ideal scenario, do you think, to be able to get max out of Bear and max out of your 5-star, or maybe he was turned into a 4-star, whatever it is now, the multi-star guy who's much anticipated in Ryder Lions?
Well, I asked Aaron Roderick a while back about that. Like, what is the timeline that they've told Ryder Lions about all this? Because no one wants to wait. They always want to compete, and he just basically put it at the cream will always rise to the top. And I think that's where this is an important year for Bear. I think he senses that because so much commitment and resources were put to Ryder Lions. They were recruiting him from 8th grade on. That's been a multi-year deal. And same with Bear Bachmeier. They recruited him quite a bit until he went off the board early to Stanford, and they quickly pursued him in the portal, and he had a brilliant freshman season as a 12-win guy and did a fantastic job last season. Was Big 12 freshman of the year on the offensive side. But, if there was a step back, and again, I don't think that's the case. I think Bear's going to be outstanding this year. But if there was a dip in production, well, it's pretty clear then you'd open it up, and the path is then cleared for Ryder to step right in. Or, if Bear takes that big jump, and I think he's going to, I think he's going to be really good this year. You create a situation where BYU has done a great job with, return missionaries. That's the one. There's many programs that have worked with return missionaries, but BYU, just because of the sheer volume, the way that they treat and have, as Kalani would say, the science. Look at the science of how we do it. Or look at the scientists. They're so accustomed to working high-level athletes back from a mission, and they did a great job with Jaron Hall. And that was before this strength staff. This one, I think, is even better in the strength and conditioning side of things. And, that's a common theme that a lot of recruits talk about with BYU since Colby Clausen and Dr. Skylar Main, how impressed they've been with this strength and conditioning staff and the way that they go about their operation and their business, to where he comes back from a mission. The thought would be still 2027 is what he has laid out as his timeline to matriculate into the program. Be part of the program. Maybe he's the clear-cut number 2, but in a perfect world, he's redshirting. I think, again, it's just Kalani's always said that he wants to have a quarterback factory, and he tells quarterbacks that can work here at BYU. It's worked in the past. Even though there's a transfer portal now, it can still work, and it worked for Jaron Hall. His patience paid off in getting him drafted as an NFL pick. Obviously, he would like to have been higher, but he was a pick, and he had an opportunity. He started in games in the National Football League. If he could have just stayed healthy, it could have been a different story for Jaron. So I think that, BYU feels really good about its quarterbacks, and no matter who's the QB1, they're optimistic that it's always going to be a top-level guy. And really, you look at the pipeline, how it's getting built out with Bear Bachmeier, Ryder Lions, Enoch Watson, probably your QB3 to right now in the program, but he's a young freshman. He's had signs of being really good. I think he's got a big arm and he's got some promising future ahead. Once coached by Max Hall and Ty Detmer in Arizona. And you got Emerson Geilman from Bountiful High School. They love what the future of the quarterback position is at BYU right now, and of course the present with Bear Bachmeier leading the way. So I think they've got the peace of mind that no matter what happens at that spot, they're always going to have talent because they've kind of built up that position with the resources and the commitments that they've landed.
Every year in the transfer portal era, it seems BYU's been able to go out and get an impact defensive player in the portal who's made a difference. Obviously, Jack Kelly's the latest success story. Can Cade Uluwave be that next big success story on BYU's defense out of the transfer portal?
I think so, and they have had some really big recent success with the portal at that spot, and it's maybe to a lesser extent last year with Keanu Tanavasa, but it was a splash with the huge, just crossing rivalry lines in this state. Cade Uluwave is going to be, he's plug and play, instant, step right in, and he's going to be, I think, expected to be a star and expected to be an all Big 12 guy. And I think that's going to be the expectation for him. And, it's been interesting, too. I was just talking just moments ago with BYU's 2027 commit, Titan DeYoung, who's also from Mountain Ridge High School. Yep. Cade Uluwave was once there at Mountain Ridge, and, back in January when DeYoung was really kind of heating up his recruitment with BYU, he mentioned how, Cade Uluwave was talking to him and just saying, like, you got to be at BYU. Kelly Poppinga is outstanding, just perfect fit. I mean, so, again, those sort of things I think just kind of resonate because we hear so much from coaches complaining about need guardrails. Players are leaving at first turn possible. Guys aren't bought in. First sign of adversity, they want to leave. BYU's just kind of finding guys that really immerse themselves. And look, Cato Luave's only got 1 year. This is it. This is the end of the road in his college career, and he's got to go make it even bigger potentially in the NFL. But they really bought in. And, talking with Cato Luave in spring ball, he just feels like he can play fast in this defense. He likes the scheme. He's going to be that inside linebacker in this defensive scheme under Kelly Papinga, and he likes the way that he fits. And I mean, that's why he's been at Cal, and he's been an absolute star in college football. And, he picks BYU over Michigan and Texas and some bluest of blue blood programs. He picked BYU, and he felt like part of it was trying to, feel like he was back at home. I think that kind of was a big pull for him because he's got strong family connections to Utah County and BYU, and he wanted to finish it off in Provo. And I think that, but the scheme, he really likes, and I think that he feels like he can step right in and be that impact player that Kelly was. And I think BYU feels like they've got a lot of guys, though, that can generate a pass rush with that outside backer, edge rusher type of players. Hunter Clegg's in that mix. Nusi Taumoi-Peau. Of course, Isaiah Glasker as a linebacker. And they feel really good about, the personnel they've got there. And then, even returning home from a mission recently, DeVoe Tuataga, who was a heralded guy in the state, former 4-star player, he's back from a mission. So quietly, BYU and a lot of these names outside of Uluwave, they're underclassmen. So if they do hit now, and BYU's ability to retain guys, you could really build up something for not only this year, but the years to come. So, Kelly Papinga's in a really good spot with his personnel. Maximizing Uluwave will be important for the top end success of this team in 2026. But BYU feels that they got more options than just Uluwave in terms of replacing Jack Kelly, because I think he's going to be a future NFL guy.
Mitch Harper. Mitch, thanks for joining us as usual. Have you guys been able to watch any kind of live anything during the spring for the media? Did they open up anything for you guys to be able to watch some legitimate back and forth?
We've had 4 media observations, 2 of which had the team 150 yards away, and even with binoculars, I couldn't see a thing. Then the 2 that were kind of customary, like what we've grown accustomed to in years past, where I got a full 20, 25 minutes. Yeah. To really break it down. I saw some good stuff in those.
Guys turning over some tires. The good stuff.
That 5th string quarterback looks pretty good.
We did see some 1 versus 1s in the 2 where they were closest to the field, but there was 2 other media observations where it was just, they're like 150 yards away. I'm like, I have binoculars. I still can't make out anything. Hilarious. So it was just, so that was kind of, I looked around thinking, well, we're just here on the balcony, just chopping it up as media guys here up here, but there we got a little bit of some glimpses, and there's always ways to get the background intel and figure out what's moving and shaking down there. So there's always ways to gather what's trending up, and so this will be an interesting season for BYU to see if they can live up to expectations.
And if there are ways, Mitch Harper finds him. He is not to be defeated. So, Mitch, as usual, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, the best in the biz. Mitch, thanks for hanging out, man.
Hey, you bet. Guys, take care.
There you go, Mitch Harper.
Let's come up with a disguise.
Hi, it's me, Fitch Garper. Got a mustache
and a trench coat.
Yeah, that'd be good. No, that's good. And then that's what you do. You do the. You do the trench coat from BoJack Horseman. Yeah. You're in the top.
Yep.
Mitch is at the bottom, just peeking through. Phenomenal. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Let me see. Yeah, we got the tickets. We got Jazz tickets to give away next. So you don't want to miss them. Jazz tickets. We've also got some projected win totals and predictions for all the Big 12. With I love a way too early anything. So anything can happen, of course, when and Mitch is obviously not the first person to talk about the soft schedule Texas Tech has to be able to get that Big 12 title wrapped up again. But we'll see who's going to challenge them, and we'll talk about that next. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. JJ, what's the worst in-person concert you went to that you've ever been to?
Blink 182.
Off-key, what is it?
Off-key.
Not really into it. Sometimes those guys, the substances hit a little bit too
I know
hard.
they're bands, and I know what I'm paying for when I go there, that there's going to be some vulgarity, but they were overly.
Okay.
Like soliciting.
Wow.
Did I just say that over the radio?
I guess so.
That's what happened.
I thought we were just going to talk about
I was kind of like, come on, guys. Like,
guys
really?
having a bad set, but that was...
No, it was like...
No, I get it. I understand.
And they were not overly impressive in person when I watched them. That was about 25 years ago.
Mine was also probably 20-ish years ago, 22 or 3 years ago, at the Gorge in Washington. I was just having this conversation with Maddie Miller outside. Because the Gorge is phenomenal. Red Rocks is a very similar, like venue in terms of like the outdoor vibe. It's just, and the acoustics are phenomenal. And I watched, it broke my heart, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers live were terrible. Anthony Kiedis could not hit a note. It was not good. So I was just thinking about it. Sublime didn't make me think about that. I didn't think to myself that, I'm hearing this and this is Sublime is fine.
I've seen some great bands.
May they rest. Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine, I saw in person.
In person, I've had more good.
Smashing Pumpkins was awesome.
I've had more good experiences than I've had bad. So
Green
that's
Day
the good thing.
It's great.
When you pay the money, and the money now at concerts is, it's like sporting events. It's just almost impossible.
It's 3 figures to get in.
Yeah.
Went and saw, I've seen some. Garth Brooks. I'm not a country guy, but Garth Brooks is incredible.
I don't doubt it. Everybody loved that when he came out.
My gosh!
He had the outdoor thing here at Rice Eccles.
I'm anti-country guy, and Garth, I really enjoy. You're not going to find a guy that kind of disdains country music more than me, and Garth was great. George Strait was great.
Disappointing Wyomingans everywhere, JJ, with that attitude about country.
I just said Chris Stapleton is amazing. Have you seen Chris Stapleton?
Isn't that the alt ego of Garth Brooks?
Basically, I guess. I don't know.
No, what's that guy that he tried to rock out being that guy? I can't remember his name. This is Chris something.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
People are trying to forget about that.
You can think about it. Tell me what text me or tweet me what the worst one is that you've ever gone to. Massive. It's disappointing to meet your heroes at the concerts.
Yeah,
that's
no nothing worse than a disappointing concert.
All right. I've got jazz tickets to give away. Good thing about that is no 3 figures to get these tickets to get into the building. You know why? We're going to give them away right now. So let's do it. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday giveaway. Let's get right at it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the 3. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Give us a call right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-9663, 801-575-ZONE. You get a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Nuggets on April 1st. That's tomorrow at Delta Center. Okay. Big 12 odds and picks, and CBS Sports is a lot like us right now. Just absolutely desperate to be able to talk football as soon as we can. And they provided the opportunity. You know who it did? Shehan Jeyarajah. Hooking us up with the win total predictions. By the way, Shehan Jeyarajah is like the Mitch Harper of CBS Sports when it comes to college football.
He's great.
Do you agree?
Yeah, and you meet him in person.
He's awesome too.
It's always great to meet people in person and figure out. He's a great person.
High energy. We see him at all the Big 12 Media Day stuff, and he's high energy guy. He's super nice and thoughtful, but he's also just loves this gig, and so he puts a ton of thought into it. He does. And let's go through these teams now. This is in an alphabetical order. And then you can kind of decide whether or not you how these win totals actually go over and what it's going to look like here. And I was shocked by some of these predictions, and some I think to myself, ooh, that program better get their crap together. I've got a couple in mind I want to roll past you, but number one on the list, because it starts with A, Arizona. 7.5 projected wins. The losses, according to Shehan, are BYU, at Texas Tech, and at Kansas State. At BYU and at Texas Tech's a pretty tough draw if you're the Wildcats. Tough to bear down in those places.
Yes.
But that being said, Noah Fifita is the only reason I don't think Bear Bachmeier is necessarily the best quarterback in the whole all the Big 12 is because one of the guys that I would put in front of him is Noah Fifita. And different skill set, obviously, but Noah Fifita, first of all, it seems like he's been playing for 100 years. And they sneakily won 9 games last year, and I'll remind you that they almost sent BYU with their first loss out of Tucson, and they did that so many freaking weeks where they had close losses, and they were a 9-win team when it was all said and done. They finished ahead of Arizona State on the standings table in the Big 12. Like, nobody talks about this because Arizona was one of those teams that was just like that middling kind of 9-ish wins and whatever. Arizona State picked for 6.5 wins. You lose Sam Leavitt. I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. And the juice and the energy that Arizona State had when Kennedy Dillingham first got there, and after that first year and after that Big 12 title, I think you and I both know it at the very least, perception-wise, it's sort of sizzled out.
It's coming back down to earth for sure.
That's tough. I like the guy, too. I want him to stay there as long as he can. Baylor at 6.5. I don't know what. I
don't know what to think of Baylor.
I just think that Dave Aranda.
5-7 last year.
I like Dave Aranda, but he's not. It's not it, man.
Got to replace the quarterback.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not feeling Baylor at all.
Losses for them. They have to. First of all, they have to start off the year at Auburn, hosting Auburn. So they host Auburn. Their losses are, they say, Auburn at home, Arizona State on the road, TCU at home, at Kansas. That seems like a stretch, but sure, why not? At BYU, Texas Tech at home, and then at Houston. Houston's going to be good, man. So they're going to have
That's 7 losses.
By the way, those losses on their schedule just show me that they have a really freaking tough schedule.
He's got them 5-7.
Yeah.
And that includes a win against Prairie View A&M.
Go Panthers. BYU, he's got at 8.5 wins on the over-under. Now, on the actual picks that he has for the wins and losses, he's got wins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins and 2 losses. Now, the 2 losses that he has are going to be the ones that are going to make you the most sad if you're a BYU fan, because 11 wins again for Kalani would be insane. That would likely put them in the Big 12 championship again, right? Possibly.
Oh, should, yeah.
He has their losses hosting Notre Dame. Of course, they're doing that, the 3rd week of the season?
Notre Dame coming to Provo.
To Provo, right? And then the other loss at Utah. So would you give up a loss at Utah to win 11 games if you're a BYU fan? Probably.
Yeah.
If you're smart.
You'd be okay
come on.
with it.
So
I guess
11-2.
Maybe not.
Maybe they aren't. Maybe
now that I think
speaking
about
too
it,
soon
probably
for
not.
We know enough people, the vocal minority, that might that might beat us up on social media.
Let me throw reason out the window.
I don't care.
No.
No, they wouldn't accept it.
No.
So
no.
would you rather for BYU fans? It's like you go 11-2, but you lose to Utah and you go to the Big 12 championship game, or you go 10-3, but you still beat Utah. They would take that.
10-3, go Cougs.
You think that's what the guy online says?
Oh yeah.
JJ's channeling the guy online.
Hey, that would be what, 4 in a row?
Officially,
That'd be 4 in a row.
Yes, officially a streak.
Ooh,
for the Cougs. That was such a funny thing after that 3rd win in a row that they've had, because everybody was bickering in the media room about before Kalani came into into the media press conference about what was considered a win streak. So the fighting back and forth.
And people wonder why the media is so hated by the public.
Well, why would you consider not so 2's not a streak, but 3 is? Okay. Whatever your editor says. I'm like, ooh, I should record this. UCF 5.5 wins, Cincinnati 5.5, Colorado the over/under is 4.5.
Gross.
I know, and he actually only has them at 4 wins, including hosting Weber State at Northwestern.
I'm not so sure about that Weber State.
I don't know either, because you think about
I'm taking Eric Kerr. I am fascinated. I'm all in on Eric Kerr and the Wildcats.
Fascinated what Eric Kerr is going to do up there.
They're going to have a good quarterback, and whoever it is, they're going to have a really good quarterback.
Dude, think about
they got dudes now.
Think about being Eric Kerr, okay? And in terms of Mount Rushmore high school coaches in the state of Utah, he's got to be number one.
There's not even a Mount Rushmore. He's number one. And there's been some great ones.
For sure.
But yes, Mount Rushmore for sure.
But imagine you're Eric Kerr, you're at Weber State, and you're after the game's over, and you've just beaten Colorado, and you're going over there to shake Prime's hand at midfield.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy.
Wild, right? How this
that's quite an ascent.
Coaching thing has gone for.
Good for him. It's awesome.
Houston 7.5 wins he's got. He's actually got them going 9-3.
Yeah, I buy that.
I could see that.
Houston, along with Arizona, I think should be good again.
So they won. I think they went 8-4 last year in conference, and then they won their bowl game.
They finished top 5 in the league.
Yeah, and then they won their bowl game. So maybe they went 9.
They finished. They went 10-3.
10-3 So they were
with
9
a 6-3 conference record.
Dude, talk about overperforming.
They finished 4th in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, Iowa State is going to take a big hit. That's probably the one that's going to be the most glaring, because obviously Matt Campbell leaving is a huge deal. He's got him at 5.5 wins and actually only has him winning 4. I don't even know. Oh, Southeast Missouri. That's who they're playing in the first game.
SEMO, baby.
SEMO. He was my best friend in high school. What's up, SEMO? Bowling Green, West Virginia, and Cincinnati. That's not a great list of
Pretty
wins.
lean.
Now, this one, I think, everyone saw this one coming. Kansas, 5.5 wins, and he actually only has them at 5. Beating Long Island, go Sharks. Beating Middle Tennessee, beating Baylor, beating UCF, and going to West Virginia and winning 2. Lance Leipold will lose his job if they only win 5 games this year. Am I wrong?
I don't know. Kansas.
Why do they love that freaking
It's a rebuilding
guy so much?
year.
He
Jalen
sucks.
Daniels is gone.
I think he stinks.
They've got a lot of guys they got to replace.
Kansas State 7.5, Oklahoma State
still don't believe in Avery Johnson.
5.5. We'll see if they can turn it around there with Mestamaker coming in with his head coach Eric Morris, and then TCU 6.5. We'll see what Sonny Dykes can do after throwing his old quarterback under the bus.
Well, he thinks Oklahoma State's going to turn it around. 4 losses.
So Shehan Jeharaja's got Texas Tech going undefeated.
Yep, I agree.
0 losses on the
schedule is Charmin soft.
Certainly does help. And then guess what? Guess who's going to be fighting at the top of the table? But according to this, Utah will go 11-2, and they'll have the tiebreaker against BYU because they beat them head-to-head.
Kind of a flip-flop from last year.
Ruh-roh. West Virginia at 5.5. Okay. So there you go. We'll take a break. We'll come back, digest it a little bit. Might talk about it a touch more when we come back. But I've got a phenomenal top 10 for you, JJ. That I think you'll do great at.
Okay.
Annapolis, not so much. All right. 97.5 EKSL Sports App.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. My sister drove a Nissan Pulsar in high school.
Do they make those anymore?
Absolutely not. T-top, though. Which is always fun. And if the kids out there are listening, Annapolis, you know what T-top is on a car? It's the worst kind of convertible you can have because it's multiple pieces that you have to manually remove.
It sucks.
And then you put it in the trunk because you're like, oh. And then after a while, you're like, the top of your roof is all scratched up because you've been storing it back and forth between your trunk. And anyway, T-top Nissan Pulsar. That song reminds me of driving around in that Nissan Pulsar, my sophomore year in high school. I know. That's a great tune, though.
Yes.
I feel like those guys would have been awesome live. May they all rest. I think they're all dead. No? Some.
Were they massacred or something? What happened there?
I just assume those guys live a rough life. Hey, if Keith
Tragic
Richards...
news from Southern California.
Sorry.
Sublime.
Entire band.
Eaten by a pack of wolves. They were delicious.
The Ted Koppel never gets old. All right. Let me see here. I got a top 10 for you. And now this one's kind of funny because I was looking it up because yesterday we were having this conversation about size and how big of a deal it is to be able to have that size. And we talked about how big this lineup with the Jazz potentially next year could be. And it got me thinking, and I have in front of me, the top 10 tallest players ever to play in the NBA.
Okay.
And you've got 60 seconds, and I'm going to make sure that I have them all in front of me so I don't it's one of those lists that I don't. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Get the timer ready, Annapolis. On your mark and set, go.
George Mirasan,
Ding.
Manute Bol,
Ding.
Sean Bradley,
Ding.
Mark Eaton. Isn't there a guy like named Nevitt or something like that?
Me.
Did I give it?
Ding! I'll give you Mr. Nevitt. Yeah, just
yes!
like you know why? Because Alex Trebek did it. Get the last name, you're good.
Ralph Sampson. No? Oh man, so there's who am I missing now? Wembanyama. No, okay.
I know, right?
Okay, who else was tall? Who
Quit
else
on
was
that
7'6"?
phone, Annapolis.
How many more left is there? I mean, what? Wilt Chamberlain?
Let me see here.
He wasn't as tall as all those guys. Mark Eaton's not on the list. How many 7'5" guys?
Well, it depends on. You know what? I'll give you Wembanyama.
Okay.
Because he's tied.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's tall. Okay. How many have I? I've got a lot of guys.
You've gotten people.
Who's missing?
Others.
Somebody who's 7'7". I got Manute Bol.
You did get Manute. You got
Sean Bradley. I got.
You did.
Who am I missing?
How tall was Yao Ming?
Yao Ming. Damn it. Gosh dang. We count that?
Like
that's the only one I can think of.
It was out of his hand at the buzzer. It was out of his hand at the buzzer that counts.
Hey, listen.
Annapolis with the assist
that was
for the
best.
win.
That's JJ, because JJ probably, when it comes to sports like trivia on the station, I would take JJ 1,000 times over anybody else.
How did I miss Yao Ming? Gosh
and
dang
so that reaction, we got to pull that. We got to have it for future reference because it was as visceral. Like he's that upset about not saying Yao Ming. And
I got Mr. Nevitt.
Yeah.
How did I not get Yao Ming?
So
you have to be old to know who Nevitt is.
For sure. You got it.
What's his first name?
Chuck.
That's right. Chuck Nevitt.
Chuck Nevitt. So the other guys are people you just don't know. Sim Bolar.
Who?
2015 played for the Kings.
All right.
But also in that same vein, and you should know his name, and he was not good, and he still is not good. Taco Fall.
Oh, that's right.
7'6". He's Taco. I love how you're on a first name basis with him. Taco. Pavel Podkolzin.
Jazz draft pick.
Oh, he was? Yeah,
Yes.
played for the Mavs for 3 years.
Gosh dang.
Chuck Nevitt, as you said, and then Slavko Vranjes. It's at 7'5". He and Victor Wembanyama, because Wembanyama went up an inch.
He's still
from
growing
from when he got drafted.
My
so
goodness.
7'5" is where the 10
Mark
ends.
Eaton didn't make this
Yes,
list.
because he's only 7'4". May he rest.
Gosh dang.
All right, your Beehive Meals Hero of the Week program goes like this. You nominate somebody at KSLSports.com/contests, and then we pick one of those winners of awesome people who do a great job of youth sports in their neck of the woods. And if that's somebody that you know who does all of that because they love the kids and they love the sports so much, KSLSports.com/contest. We read a winner off every Thursday on our program. We love them up on our social media pages, and then they also get $250 courtesy of Beehive Meals, who brings you this program. All right, we'll take a break. More to go around the corner. Jared Weiss, covering the NBA for The Athletic. He's going to join us next. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, I'm Josh Spiegel, host of the podcast Lunatic in the Newsroom. If you enjoy journalism that drifts into mild panic, wild overthinking, and a guaranteed nervous breakdown, Lunatic in the Newsroom is for you. It's news like you've never heard before. The only newsroom with a panic button. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and gasp in horror as the show spirals completely out of control. It's not just news, it's emotionally unstable. Lunatic in the Newsroom. Listen today.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.